Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today is Sunday fun day. Woo. So I'm not doing a whole lot today. I kind of just, what did I do today? I didn't do any cleaning, which is a shock because there are some things that I need to do around the house that I just didn't feel like doing, and so I didn't do them. Okay, I'm being naughty but trust me, like, I'm like looking around. I'm trying not to focus on the dusty things or maybe some things that I need to wipe down or clean up, or I'm sure I could do one load of laundry. I have like one load of laundry to do, but I'm just not going to do anything today. And every single day I do something, whether it's wiping down the sinks. I always wipe the toilets down and stuff. Like, that's just something I have to do all the time, at least a couple times a week, if not more. But anyway, so I went to Ross today, and just to get out of the house. This is pillow talk, by the way. Okay, pillow talk, because we're in my living room. I'm on the couch with all my 10 pillows. So I did tell you guys I was gonna do pillow talk like once a week or once every couple weeks, whatever. So anyway, I thought I would do a story time in the spirit of getting to know me. And you know, we all know I talk a lot about mental health and obviously makeup, because I love makeup, health and beauty, anything health and beauty related. I thought I would maybe do another story time, and I have a lot of stories. And just let me just grab something real quick. Sorry, gotta shut this off because again my TV's bothering me because it's got like that flickering light. So anywho, so yeah, I thought I would do a story time. When I was 4 years old, taking it way back, so 50 years ago, when I was 4 years old, I had my first friend, and we're still friends today, although we don't talk a lot, like a couple times a year, which is really sad because she lives in Parker, which is not that far from here. And for one reason or another, our lives just, I don't know if there's just always a lot going on in my life. There's definitely a lot going on in her life, because I've tried getting together with her multiple times to like have lunch or dinner or something. And she made it pretty awkward. I don't know if I'll ever really say like what story is behind that. She made it pretty awkward for me. I might tell the story, but I have to like seek out some advice first, because you guys know I like to overshare sometimes, and some things maybe just should be left unsaid. But we became friends when I was 4. I was old enough to go outside and play, I guess. I don't know. She lived about 4 houses from me, and she was 2 years older than me, so she was 6. She was my brother Mark's age. And I mean, we would just play, like, I don't know, you know, I would go over to, my mom would walk me over to her house. I'd go for an hour or so, I guess. And then she would walk and come pick me up. And I don't know, being 4 years old, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old unattended is kind of weird. And nowadays, I mean, I would never leave my 4-year-old. But back then, it was just so much different, you know, it was just different back then. But anywho, so, I mean, I have a ton of childhood stories. Like, her and I used to, I mean, from 4 years old, as, you know, time went on, we would do, you know, we eventually, like, started walking to Kmart, and I was like 10 or 11. I think I told you guys in one of my other stories, and I thought I was cute, you know, with my little half shirt, and just, you know, just thinking I'm cute walking on Federal, and trying to get, we would try to see how many honks we could get. Like, how scary is that with all the pedophiles and crazy child molesters and stuff out there? Like, that's what we used to do. So, you all know that I'm pretty ornery. I'm just kind of a tomboy. I'm a kid at heart. And I just have always been ornery. And, you know, I grew up with brothers. So, I guess I have a little bit of one of my old bosses used to tell me that I had, why he said this is I don't know, he just picked an age, but he said I have like a sense of humor of like a 6th grade boy, which I don't know how to take that. Like, is that, I mean, it's kind of funny, but I guess just an ornery 6th grade boy. So, you know, I just did random stuff at work. Like, I was always doing something random at work, and he just thought it was the funniest thing because I would say things or, you know, laugh, make jokes about certain things that I guess a woman my age and my style wouldn't normally do. So, yeah, you know, just like to keep a sense of humor about things because it keeps life fun, interesting, not crying. So anyhow, one of the stories is, okay, we started being friends when I was 4. So, well, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, and we would go ride our bikes. And trying to think, for some reason, she was riding me on the back of her bike. And one of our neighbors, like the neighbor right next door to us, there was this, I don't even know, it was a man, a lady, and I think they had a son and a daughter. And the husband used to always wear his pants like, like where you could see like his butt crack, like that much. Like, you know, like a plumber's pants, you know, plumber crack. And and he would do yard work, and so it would go further down. And my friend Janet was just like, so like, she would just ride around like in circles and just look at his like butt crack, and we would just laugh. But she just, you know, really wanted to just like, we would just ride up and down, but like looking at his butt crack. Like, it wasn't me, like she totally wanted to look at his butt crack, and I'm like, you know, I want to look at his hairy butt. Like, and he had hair, like he had hair all over his back and butt. Like, sometimes he wouldn't wear a shirt and he would be in the yard pulling weeds or bending over doing stuff. For some reason or another, he was always bending over. So we would ride our bikes, but for some reason this particular day she was riding me. And these things on this, sorry guys for the light flickering, so she was riding me this one particular day, and me being the ornery me, and I was bored, I don't know, you know, I thought, oh, this would be funny to do. This is the kind of sense of humor that I have. This is why I think my boss would say, sorry, I saw something on the side of my eye. So this is why I think my boss would say, like, I had this 6th grade boy sense of humor. So we're riding the bike around, and then all of a sudden I'm like, ah, I scream. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, what happened? I said, I got stung by a bee. She's like, where? And I'm like, on my foot. I was like, oh my God, it hurts. And so she started riding really fast to her house, and here I'm playing it off like I got stung by a bee. We went in, I kind of limped in, and we went inside, and she's like, Mom, Dezi got stung by a bee. And her mom and dad were like the sweetest, most honest, most, I mean, they just were like angelic. Like, they were just the perfect mom and dad, like Leave It to Beaver mom and dad, straight up Leave It to Beaver. Ward and June Cleaver all the way. And so she's like, Mom, Dezi got stung by a bee. And so her mom got the first aid kit, because of course they had a first aid kit. We were lucky if we had band-aids. Like, seriously, like if we had band-aids, like it was a freaking miracle. Oh, but no, her mom pulled out her first aid kit. You know, she had every bandage in there, every kind of band-aid you could imagine. And so then she pulls out the kit. She's like, where's it at? And I looked at my ankle, and I saw like a little mark that I had there forever. It was probably a birthmark, a mole or a beauty mark or something. And I was like, it's right there. And she's like, oh, I see it, a mole. And so she gets meat tenderizer out. Okay, so if you don't know what meat tenderizer is, like right off the bat, somebody's right now is probably going, meat tenderizer? Like, why would she get meat tenderizer out? So back in the day, and they still do it today if you're old enough to remember, if you get meat tenderizer and you put a little bit of water, mix a tiny bit of water, and you make like a paste out of it, and you put it on a bee sting, it's supposed to suck like the stinger out of the bee sting, so it's supposed to pull it out of your skin. So she mixed up the paste of meat tenderizer, she put it on my bee sting, and she kind of just let it sit there. I had scratched it while we were riding the bike to make it red. I had scratched around the little mark, right, around that whole little area, because I had a general idea of where I was going to say I got bit at. So she puts a meat tenderizer on. She's like, I don't think the stinger, I don't think it, you know, I think it might have just stung you and then just came right back out. The stinger didn't get stuck inside of you. So she cleaned it up really good. She cleaned it with some peroxide or alcohol. I don't remember what it was. And then she hooked me up with the Band-Aid. And I mean, I just carried that all the way through. I don't think I ever admitted that it was a fake bee sting. Did I ever admit that? It was a while before I admitted it, and I was just like, you remember that one time when we were riding bikes and I got stung by a bee? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't really get stung by a bee. She's like, Desi, what do you mean? She's like, gosh, you had my mom, you know, do all this stuff and da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, that's me. And I'm like, it's funny. Like, how is that not funny? Like, how do you not find that funny? Like, to me, that's freaking hilarious. Like, that is something like I did like on a regular basis. Like, I always did those types of things. So, you know, people would say that I was like a bully, or like, you know, I would poke fun at other people, like at other people's expense. And I mean, I just thought that kind of shit was funny. Like, am I wrong? I mean, to have a sense of humor like that, to be a little kid and to be that witty and that quick-minded to think of something like that, I was very theatrical with it. You know, I was almost crying. Okay, every time I'm home by myself, I always hear stuff. Or like, I'm sitting downstairs in my living room right now. I know this is like totally off subject, but I heard like somebody walking upstairs, and nobody's here. So sometimes the house does settle. I know when it's daytime, the sun's out. I know, like, as the sun goes down, like, things start to settle, and I think the house settles. So sometimes I just freak myself out because I do have a lot of paranormal activity. But so that was my one of my little stories of my bee sting. And I mean, I was just always doing stuff with her and at her house. And her mom used to keep popcorn popped, like not in a bag. It was old school popcorn. She would keep popcorn popped for my friend's dad for when he watched sports, I guess. I don't know. There was always a tin. They had them tin bowls where you had like a whole set of them, you know, and you could put the blender and mix them, those mixing bowls. They had like a whole set of, they had everything, like anything and everything. Like, we didn't have, we had the best of everything. Like, we had nice things, but like they were like set, you know. They didn't have to pay rent or mortgage where they were living. So they had like all this extra money because her dad was the principal to the school and the church across the street from where we live. There was a faith Lutheran school, and he was the principal. So as being a principal, the house belonged to the church, and so they didn't have to pay rent. I'm sure they had to pay like electricity and stuff like that. So they always had everything. They always had like not just one candy bar, you know, maybe one for each of them. She had a brother and a sister who was older. And they would buy the big packs of candy bars. They didn't just have like chips, you know, something like a generic brand that said chips, you know, not Lay's, not Cheetos, not Doritos. Like, they had straight up Lay's. They had Cheetos, crunchy and puffy. They had Doritos. They had Fritos and bean dip, not just Fritos. They had like 4 or 5 different brands. Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes, Trix. Do you remember Trix? Trix was one of my favorite cereals, and I used to eat a bowl of cereal every day after school. Every day after school, I would come home and eat a bowl of cereal. But her family had like all the good stuff. I shit you not, in her cupboard, I used to climb in the cupboards. Like when her mom and dad weren't home and my cousins would come over and spend the night. I think that's when I got a little ornerier because I would show off in front of my cousins. And although she was my best friend, I mean, it's like, Janet, sorry, that's her name. Janet, like, you have enough. You have more than you should have. So, like, you need to share. So I would get a chair because I knew where all the candy, all the gum, the packs of gum, big packs, value packs, okay. They had Pop Shop. Do you remember Pop Shop? I think it was Pop Shop. And they came in them little fat bottles. They had every flavor of pop. They had a refrigerator downstairs and a pantry downstairs. So they had like, it was like a fallout shelter down there. Like they had so much stuff. So it's like, come on, like really, like why can't I climb in the cupboards and grab a couple candy bars? Why can't I eat all your dad's popcorn? Your mom's gonna pop more. I mean, you guys have like a freaking pound of popcorn to pop. So I love popcorn. I still love popcorn to this day. I buy the popcorn tins during the holidays, and I ate 4 popcorn tins this past Christmas. That's how much I love popcorn. So I used to always eat the popcorn, and she would just be like, Desi, like, that's my dad's popcorn. Like, my mom's gonna be mad. To be like, Janet, like, your mom can pop him some more popcorn. Like, it's not a big deal. Calm down. So, I mean, like, those are the kind of things that I did. One other quick story I want to tell you about when I was in 2nd grade. I think it was 2nd grade. I'm pretty sure it was 2nd grade. And I had a best friend. Okay. Her name was Cari. I have a sister-in-law named Cari. Cari, I'm not talking about you. We know it's not you. And you know about this story. And you think that I'm the biggest bully that there is, okay, in all the land. And see this? You want some of this? And she was my best friend. Keeping it in the spirit of, hey, we're friends. We're all friends. I didn't beat nobody up. I didn't steal anybody's lunch money. I didn't, you know, I don't know. I didn't bully anybody. I just, sorry guys, my whole lighting flipped over. We could say that it just fell over. We could say that it was my little ghost that runs around here and does shit, you know, just to annoy me. I think it's a little kid. But if you guys remember one of my last ghost stories, there's a man and a little kid. I don't know if the man is here still, because he was at my townhome where I lived prior to here. So anyway, okay, a story for another day. So anyway, my best friend Cari and I were best friends. So I was able to go to her house a couple times after school. I don't know how. I was not allowed to go anywhere, but for some reason I was able to go to Cari's house after school, and I got picked up a couple times. Woo, like, oh, got to go to Cari's house. So, you know, I think we got out of school at like 3:30 or 3:20, and then I went over there to like 5. Anyway, the moral of the story, to make a long story short, is on days we had chicken a la king, or we had pizza, or we had spaghetti, every now and then, not all the time, every now and then, I would just ask her politely if I could have half of her lunch, okay? Because I love chicken a la king, and I love the school spaghetti, and I love the school pizza. And I wasn't taking all her food. She still had food to eat. So, I mean, it was just like, Cari, I want half of your spaghetti. I want at least 1/3 of your piece of pizza. I would eat mine too, but I was hungry. Like, and I only got lunch money for like 1 lunch. Like, some kids would get double lunches, like losers. So I feel really bad today, to be honest with you. And if I've tried looking her up, like I had my daughters look her up like on Facebook and stuff. I don't have Facebook because I don't mess with the drama. But I've tried looking her up on social media. I'm sure she has a different last name. But I am so sorry. I feel like I didn't do it all the time, but I mean, I did do it, and I guess it was mean. And that if I could talk to her today, I would tell her I'm so sorry. My daughters, my family say, or my daughters really just say that she probably ended up with an eating disorder because of me. Like, that's possible. Like, some of the things that happened to me when I was a kid that traumatized me, like, affected me still to this day. And I feel like, Cari, if you're out there, Dezi is so sorry that she made you give her half of your lunch. And she would tell me, Dezi, I'm hungry too. And I'd be like, Cari, you still have food. That's enough till you get out of school. You can eat something when you get home. I know it's bad, you guys, I know. But that's how ornery that I was when I was a kid. And I didn't do that all the time, and I didn't do mean things like that. It's not like I made her starve. I know it was wrong, but those are just the things that I would do sometimes. And I mean, that's just part of who I'm still that person. I still kind of do those things. I don't take food from people. Okay, one more thing that I did do. There's so many stories, but I'm just going to kind of give you a few of them in this video. One other thing that I did do, not proud of it. And mind you, I was a kid too, okay? I was a troubled child, okay? There was a lot going on at home. I'm not making excuses for it, but looking back now, it all makes sense that what I was going through at home was the reason why I was doing these things. So when I would go to the store, me and Janet would walk to Kmart. We would go on the bus, whatever store we'd go to, mostly Kmart. I just always remember Kmart being the specific store that I would do said things at. So we would go to Kmart. Okay, I'm not saying, okay, I'm not trying to glorify bullying. I'm not saying bullying's okay at all. It is not okay in any way, shape, or form, whether it's verbally, physically, intimidation, anything like that. I am no bullying. Like, I'll beat you up if you want to bully somebody. If I see somebody being bullied, like, I'll put you straight. I'll pluck you up and drop you. Like, seriously. But I was a kid. I was like under 10 years old. And you know how the people in the store, like, you'd put your kid in the buggy, you know, in the cart, and the mom would be looking at stuff. And just kids, little kids, like annoying little kids to me. I was like 8, 9, like I was older. And then there was this like 5-year-old sitting in the buggy, you know, staring at me. You know how kids like just stare at you? They look at you like you're like an alien, and they're just like fixated on you. Like, they don't smile, they're looking at you, and they kind of look you up and down, and just like, I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, you're 4, like, you're 5, and you have attitude? You're gonna have attitude with me? So what I would do was, and I didn't do it hard because I didn't cry, I would go like this with my finger, like that, and I would flick them in the head, and then I would turn really fast. And they would go, and they would rub their head, and then they would be making kind of whimpering noise or whatever, and then their mom would turn and be like, what? And I'd be gone. Like, those are the kind of things that I did. I know it's wrong, and I'm here to say I'm sorry. I guess this is my confessional. Today's Sunday, so I'm confessing my sinful nature, and I'm just asking God to forgive me for those things that I did. But it was funny. It was, you know, I'm sure it wasn't funny for other people, but you know, looking back now, I'm pretty sure everybody could agree, you know, it was funny. Even the kid in the car. I remember that one time when I was little and this girl flicked me in the head. That was just so funny. I thought, what is this girl doing? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying now. But Cari, I'm so sorry. All the kids that I flicked in the head, I'm really sorry. It's not my fault. I was a product of my environment. Okay? No bullying. I'm like so opposite of the way I used to be, although I'm still ornery. And we all in my family though, all the women in my family pick on our spouses, our husbands, our boyfriends or whatever. And we just think it's funny just to embarrass them in front of the whole family. And we just laugh our butts off, like all of us together, because that's just who we are, you know? There's a whole gang of us. One other story, me and my cousins, Brenda and Lori, used to go to Elitch's. Do you remember when Elitch's was on 38th? If you live in Colorado and Denver, you know Elitch's was on 38th off of Sheridan. Well, we used to get on the roller coaster and then it went through a tunnel. So every time it would go through a tunnel, the kids in front of us, when we'd go through the tunnel, we would grab the kids by the back of their hair and like pull their hair really hard and then make them think it was like part of the ride. Like they would hold their head and look like, what the hell? And I'm just like, what are you talking? That's part of the ride. I didn't pull your hair. Like, come on. Get with the program. My hand comes down and it pulls your hair. It's happened to me. Somebody pulled my hair too. So anyway, you guys, those are some of my little stories, my little story times and getting to know me. And that was a little handful of my childhood stories. So if you want to hear more of my stories, let me know. Leave your comments and your questions down below. I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you still like me after this, because I'm sorry. Forgive me. And I will never do it again. And I don't encourage it. So don't be a bully, okay? Don't be a bully. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next